Hey friends, welcome to this pregnancy yoga class for those of you who are experiencing headaches. So this class has been recommended so many times, I thought it was time that I finally made this video for you. You might notice I have a little extra friend filming with me today. This is our brand new puppy. She's 9 weeks today. Her name is Tulla. She's a little spoodle or a cockapoo, depending on where you are in the world. So I've got a couple of hours without my own kids, so of course I thought this would be the perfect time to film. And someone thinks it's the perfect time just to lay on my lap. So I don't know how this is going to go. It could be quite interesting. Bear with me. If you are brand new to pregnancy yoga, after this class, I want you to go into the description box and download my free pregnancy yoga guide. So that will go through the do's and the don'ts for you, but you can rest assured everything we do in today's class is safe for all trimesters. For today's class, I would love if you had a yoga block or like a really thick book to practice with, because we're going to do this behind the head and roll the head over it. It feels really nice and helps to relieve headaches. And also a bolster can be really nice to practice with, or if you don't have a bolster, some cushions or pillows, rolled up blankets, that will also work perfectly well. All right, let's get started. We're just going to start in a comfortable seat. She's comfortable, but I don't know that I'm comfortable. So I'm just going to cross my legs. I just want you to sit up tall. I'm just going to roll the shoulders back and down. I know for me when I'm having headaches, often a lot of the tension is coming from my shoulders, up my neck and into my head, which isn't true for all headaches, but is always a nice place to start, especially when we're pregnant. We tend to start to hunch over a little bit, starting to move into that protective mode around the belly. So just loosening up through the shoulders. Maybe do one side and then the other, noticing if there's any tightness in one more than the other. We're going to do a few rounds of our circle of joy. So bring the hands to heart, find that length through the spine. Inhale as the elbows rise. Exhale as you press the hands away. So I really want you to focus on full, long, deep breaths here. Inhale as you rise, arms to the sky. And then exhale, I want you to take the elbows down and open up through the chest. Then bring the hands in front, elbows together, round through that back. Inhale as you open up again, so just making some space through that upper chest. And bring the hands to heart. Let's take a breath here to settle, connecting in with that baby within you. And then we repeat our circle of joy 2 more times. Inhale. So not the traditional circle of joy, but still opening up through that upper part of the back and the chest and helping to release any tension that we might be holding there. So bring the elbows down, really opening up through that heart space. And then exhale, round. Inhale to open. Exhale. And then bring the hands to heart. We've got one more round to go. I'm just going to stay quiet for this round. I want you to connect in with your own heart space. Any messages that it has for you today. Inhale. Let's take a moment here, sitting in your center. And then release the hands into the lap. We're going to just look down towards the belly. Hopefully your belly is getting beautiful and round. Or maybe you're in the first trimester. I would often get headaches in the first trimester, so maybe you've just got a little baby bump there happening at the moment. And then take your left ear over to the left shoulder, so getting a really nice stretch down the right side. And then really gently, using the eyes, shift the gaze towards the ceiling. Head goes back all the way around so that the right ear goes down towards the right shoulder. So giving a nice stretch down the opposite side. And then come back through center and look down towards the belly again, so lengthening out the back of the neck. And just rolling the shoulders a couple more times. I'm going to take the right arm and reach it down the back. And then take the other arm and see if you can reach the fingertips so they'll interlace behind you. If that doesn't work, and if your fingertips aren't going to make it, you can hold the elbow and just gently draw it down the back. Keep finding that length through the spine. Keep breathing long and deep. And then I want you to release this forearm all the way down to the ground. So you might find that this is a little bit too intense. And if it is, come back to just the hand on the ground. But if you can, bring that forearm down, and I want you to keep anchoring down with that left hip. And we're just going to stay and soften in here. Sometimes it can be tempting to move straight into our side angle. But I know for me, if I stay and let this stretch happen, I can get more benefits just from being in this pose. So keep breathing long and slow. So far my little friend has been just a little lap warmer at the moment. It'll be interesting to see as she gets bigger whether she still wants to participate in this or just becomes a pain. And then if you feel ready, I want you to take that hand past the ear, stretch it out, and still keep anchoring down through that left hip. Keep the breath flowing through the body. Maybe you can shift the shoulder, opening up the chest. Maybe you can't. Just working with where your body is at today. And then slowly allow yourself to come back up and just sit in your center for a moment. Few deep breaths here. And then we take the left arm up and over. Again, you could interlace behind you, or you can just bring the hand to the elbow and gently draw the fingertips down the back. And then gently release that forearm down to the ground, or again onto the hand if that feels more comfortable. And we're just going to soften in. So see if you can soften through the face, the neck. Keep anchoring this right hip down towards the mat. But let everything else be nice and soft. So through the neck and shoulders as well. And the belly, let that be soft around your baby. And then if it feels good to do so, you can take the arm up behind the ear, reaching over. That's it. Still lengthening down through that right hip. And if it feels good, you could open up towards the ceiling, really getting that full body side stretch here. And then slowly coming all the way back up. I feel like she's not going to like this very much, but I want to come to hands and knees. Here you go, darling. You stay there. All right, so bring those hands underneath the shoulders and the knees underneath the hips. I'm just going to loosen up some tension through the spine if we're holding it there. So to start with, I just want you to lift the head, lift the tail, let the belly be soft. And then as you exhale, gently tuck through the tailbone, round through the upper back, press into the hands, press into the shins. And then move through this a few more times. Feel free to move in a way that feels good for you. So if it doesn't feel good to do a big arch here because you've already got a big arch because you've got a big belly, then don't. Just bring it to more of a flat tabletop. If you're in the first trimester and it feels really good to stretch up, then do that. Really start to tune in and listen to your body. Inhale and exhale. And then Releasing back to tabletop. I just want you to take a few rocks and rolls here. Just feeling into any tight spots in the body. Noticing, maybe moving into those areas, stretching them out. And then I want you to come back down to sit. So I'm going to do some forward folding now. It helps to lengthen out through the back of the legs, which can help to release tension through the back, which might be moving all the way up through the neck. So it's kind of like loosening up the entire body to help to release some of that tension that's happening in our head at the moment. So I'm going to work with a bolster. Like I said, if you've got a cushion or some pillows off your bed, that will work too. And we're just going to take both legs out in front of us. Because we're making space for a belly, I just want you to take the feet about hip width or a little bit further apart. We're also going to use a block here on the high side just so that we don't have to fold too far forward. The same thing would work if you had multiple pillows stacked up. So we're just creating a bit of height so that as we lean forward, we're not doing too much stretching through the legs. So we are going to find some length through the spine first. So feel like you're pressing down with those sit bones and the crown of the head is lifting up nice and tall. Maybe you roll through those shoulders a couple more times. And then when you're ready to, just start to creep forward, keep drawing the toes back towards you so that the hamstrings are nice and active. You could make fists if your little pillow is not quite high enough. And then I really want you to soften in here. So see if you can relax through the head, the neck, the face, the belly, the chest. You should still feel the legs, but let them be soft too. So this is quite a passive stretch. Make sure that you're using the supports enough so that you're not feeling like you're straining into the legs. It's just a really gentle stretch here. If you do feel like you have a little bit more room, you could deepen it a little bit more. But like I said, it's not necessary. We don't need to push when we're pregnant. Our body is already opening and releasing. I'm just helping to release some of the extra tension that we might be holding and creating in the body as the belly changes and the weight changes. Keep breathing here. And then slowly come to sit back up, and just like we've practiced earlier, I just want you to come back and sit in your center. So maybe you bring the hands to the belly, holding your baby, connecting in with breath. Maybe sighing out a few times if you feel like you have some things to release. And then removing that bolster for the moment, coming back to sit cross-legged, or in any way really that is comfortable for you. We're just going to take a really gentle twist. So bring the right hand behind you and use the hand on the outside of the right thigh as an anchor, looking up and over that right shoulder. See if you can press down into the sit bones and lift the crown of the head a touch taller, and then look over a little bit more. It should feel really nice through the spine, just gently twisting out. Keep that breath moving. We know that the breath is going to help with headaches regardless of the movements that we're doing in the body. Those deep, full breaths are going to help to release some of that tension that you're feeling in the head. And then gently release, come back to center, take a breath here. And then reaching that left hand around, rooting down into the sit bones to lift the crown of the head taller, right hand to the outside of the thigh, looking over. Gently release back. I want you to keep the block or your book, whatever you're working with, and you're going to prop that bolster or cushion back up. So you're creating a little bit of a ramp, I guess, for the upper back so that you don't have to lie completely flat on the back. This will make it suitable for those of you who are maybe in the later stages of pregnancy and you don't want to put that extra weight on that right side. So you're going to lower yourself down and make sure you're nice and comfortable through the low back, so there shouldn't be any tension here. Feel free to adjust the positioning of the bolster if it's not okay. And then just bring the soles of the feet in, so again, about hip distance. You're just going to wiper them from side to side. So take them all the way over to the left. I don't want to squash little Tulla there. And then exhale, take them all the way over to the right. So again, getting that beautiful twist through the spine, bit of a stretch up the side body. You could even lift that opposite arm, increasing. And almost feel like you're breathing up and down the spine, like you're sending the breath up and down each time you breathe in. We're going to move back to that original side, so take them all the way up and over, maybe lift the opposite arm. And then last side, rolling those legs over. Lifting that arm if it feels good, breathing up and down the spine. And then come back to center. Use the hands to support you to come up, so we're not putting any extra strain on our belly when we're pregnant. We're going to move the bolster away. So you might like to lay the legs over the bolster as we move into this almost a shavasana, but with the addition of the block under the head. So that will just help to relieve any low back tension. See if I can fit mine in here without waking her up. And I want you to use the hands to support you to come all the way down. So at no point in our pregnancy yoga classes are we using the core muscles to roll down. Just allow yourself to get comfortable on the bolster if you've got them under the knees. And I want you to bring the block on the high side or the low side, it's up to you, but you want the edge to press just at the base of the spine. So if you've ever been to a chiropractor, they often get into these points. You might even adjust the block so it sits on a bit of an angle, so that as you roll the head from side to side, the base of the spine presses into the side of the block, which might be too intense, in which case put it back on the flat edge, so that as you roll from side to side, it's not quite as much pressure. And then I just want you to notice as you keep breathing where the tight spots are. Maybe you rock back and forth on one side. I can hear Tulla snoring. She's certainly chill. That's what we're aiming for. Be like Tulla. So just gently rock back and forth, maybe moving into any spots that you can be like, oh, that feels tight, there's tension there. Just use the breath, gently rocking the head back and forward, like the block is giving you a bit of a massage. Keep the breath full and slow, really embodying this sense of not needing to rush, slowing down. Let the whole body sink into the mat, becoming heavy. I think pregnancy naturally wants to pull us into this state, especially that third trimester. And sometimes we can want to resist it, feeling like we need to do all the things before our baby arrives. And actually all the things we need to do are look after ourselves so that our body can look after our baby. Often that means needing to switch the mind off and just get into the body. And maybe these headaches are your body trying to tell you that it needs some more downtime or it needs some more loving attention. And hopefully this yoga class has helped you to get into the body and to listen to those messages. So just as we finish up here, you can remove the block or you can leave the head resting on it. It's up to you. I just want you to bring the hands to heart. Taking a few deep breaths into this space. Tuning in, listening to what your body needs. Perhaps bringing the hands to the belly as well. And perhaps your baby has wisdom to share. And just breathing into this inner sense of trust, that intuition, that knowing, that mama wisdom within you that will know what is right for your baby, but also will know what is right for you. Start to learn to listen to her, to trust her, and to follow her lead. Feel free to stay in this position for another 5, 10, 15 minutes if your body's asking for rest. If you're ready to return to whatever your day or your evening holds, you can use your feet to roll to one side. That's often the easiest way to get up. And just coming up to have a seat, bringing the hands to heart. Just taking a moment to connect. I want to thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today. It is always an honor. If you would like to join in with more yoga classes with me, you can check out the other classes on my channel. There is a whole playlist for pregnancy, or you can access any of my premium classes in my online yoga circle. All the links will be below. Thank you again for being here, and namaste.